Welcome, everyone. We are back with day 2 of round 1, the Red versus Blue Cyber League 2022 Invitational. Once again, I'm your host, Clint Bodungen, and we have with us our co-host, Jerry Ogier. What's up? Again, Jerry, long time no see.
Yeah, no, it was just a few hours ago that we saw hot first round action between Eric Taylor and Josh Mason, the quickest match of the tournament to date. And even though it was a few hours ago, it does feel like a long period of time has passed. There's so much going on, so much hot action on the ThreatGEN Red versus Blue platform. I'm loving it. Can't wait for this matchup.
Well, I think that the reason why it seems like it was so long ago is because Eric won so fast. It put more time between the matches. I got a chance to get a manicure and a hot lunch and all sorts of stuff. You know, took the dog for 3 walks. So I'm excited for this. I can't talk. I'm excited for this matchup. So here's what we're looking at today. And get this right. There we go. So we have got Ken Underhill, Kenbot versus Cyber Matt Lee. And again, you know, from my perspective, I don't know, you know, Ken is a longtime professional, and, you know, I've known Ken for a long time. I think that, you know, he's probably middle of the road in terms of experience with the platform with Red versus Blue. I think that he's probably more of a blue teamer. He's got some red team knowledge, but I don't know how much red team skills he has. I haven't seen that side of him, but that doesn't matter, right? Because Red versus Blue, you know, when it comes to methodology, you may have a methodology in your mind as a professional, whether you're a red team or blue teamer, but the mechanics of Red versus Blue doesn't necessitate whether you have one specialty or the other in order to kind of dominate, as Eric, you know, has shown us, Eric Taylor has shown us. So I don't know, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, well, Eric Taylor is a special breed, a special, you know, candidate who's got both side skills. But relative to this matchup, you know, Ken Underhill does have significant red team experience, and Matt Lee has blue and, you know, kind of that GRC side of stuff. So I do believe Cyber Matt Lee will be playing as blue team and Ken as the red. So really each team playing to their strengths. So I'm hoping A, for a good match, and then B, you know, I haven't seen either. I've seen Matt Lee play. He famously got destroyed by Eric Taylor in back-to-back games in one single stream. Another first for Eric Taylor. But I haven't seen Ken Underhill play on the platform. He has played, but it hasn't been on stream or in live. So as Eric Taylor would put it, there isn't a lot of OSINT out there for Ken Underhill's game. So I'll be interested to see what his style is. We've seen already in the match, we've seen my style of going on-prem and then jumping back to the hacker hangout. We have seen just earlier today, Eric Taylor take advantage of that social engineering, massive electronic social engineering type attacks to win. So we've seen a couple different techniques and strategies, but there's still other strategies that haven't been explored. So I'd be interested to see if Ken takes on one of those.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing, right? I mean, there's so many different strategies, there's so many different ways, so many different vectors between social engineering and physical, direct cyber attacks. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors while we get the contestants set up. All right, we can see Ken there is waiting in his starship, his spaceship, or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I think there we go. We have Matt Lee starting. Do we know who's blue team and who's red team? I think it looks like Matt is blue team.
Oh, I guess Matt Lee is live. Okay, very cool.
Yep,
very
he
cool.
is live. So yeah, go ahead and give him the green flag, the green light, and they can get started.
Yeah. Well, I want Ken to go full screen here. You know, we do have a couple production things here, but I'll let them know that they can go live. Yeah, there we go. He's starting to get his thing stood up. There we go. All right. So if you're in chat, if you've been following the matches throughout the event, I recognize some of you, Just Ben, Justin Loken, Munchkin, a lot of the Simply Cyber crowd up in here. Hi, Michael Crean, Jermaine Wilson. If you've been following, please let me know in chat what you're thinking as far as who might win today.
Yeah, from my perspective, let's see here. We're just getting getting everybody set up. Oh, see Matt moving around his picture there. And also, just one thing, even though our competitors are experienced streamers, they might not be experienced with Restream in particular. So we're just getting them set up real quick.
Matt Lee looks like he's in a cubicle. Very nice. He's giving the wave. I like it. Ken is just getting set up here. There is Ken. Perfect. All right. I think we're ready. Yes. All right. So now you can flip over to Ken just to confirm we've got that from a production perspective. Clint, and yep. See, here we go.
Awesome.
Multiplayer. All right.
Yeah, so I've seen Ken practicing a lot on the server using the power of the server admin omnipotence. But I don't know if he's actually played any live human versus human. I think that might be why he's having an issue getting set up on multiplayer here. He's inexperienced with doing so.
Yep.
There we go. What is he doing there?
Nope. All right. Ken, Clint, do you want to talk about some of the meta stuff that you talked about in round 2, potentially?
There's nothing really to mention. Yeah, there he is. He's getting set up now. There's nothing really to talk about yet. I don't want to disclose that until later. Okay, here we go.
All right, perfect. I see that. All right, we are now ready to rock. I love it. All right, Cyber Matt Lee, you can start the game. All right, I am super excited. Every match we've had to date has been wildly entertaining. I have absolutely loved it, and I'm really hoping for this one to be as equally exciting as all of the matches to date really have been.
Oh, and he's got the pipeline map. This is the map. This is the medium map. He's going with his policies and procedures, getting his baseline set up. But and I can also tell that Ken is already queuing up his stuff.
Yep, he didn't waste any time there.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I'll be asking the players to show their activity logs so we can get some better visibility on all of that.
Oh, he already pushed over. Wait, there we go. All righty.
All right, I've got chat up. I've got them up. I've got all these feeds up. I am maxing out my 2 screens, Clint, so very excited about that.
All right. I have limited screens right now because I'm in a temporary studio, so...
Okay, very good.
All righty, so I think Ken is getting ready to make an on-site run. He's got the human social engineering researched.
All right, yeah, he's moving right to perimeter. And he's doing some more research. See, I appreciate this. Ken's going to make a run. He is researching the right things. But I would really encourage someone to go a little bit deeper. It'll be interesting to see what Ken can accomplish with not having a ton of human social engineering researched. You know,
well,
what I mean?
and he's going to be doing that. He's pumping that up. But I don't know if Ken. I don't know if he knows that the HMI cheese has been nerfed. Let Matt know to hit his minus key on his keyboard to adjust his resolution for his Mac OS.
I will.
All right, what else is Ken doing here? He is currently remote. He's moving into the plant using physical, I think. Yep, he's going to use physical intrusion methods to move further into the plant.
All right. Wow. So he is aggro. You know, it's interesting. Cybermat Lee has developed video surveillance, so he has early defense in place.
Yep, he's even got some network. Oh, see, look at that. Has been kicked out already. He was on the perimeter. Matt Lee has video surveillance, and it paid off. Boom, Ken is kicked out. His initial strategy has been thwarted.
Yep. And we're gonna have to see, because Ken spent a lot of resources on developing that human SE. So it'll be really interesting to see what he can do with that.
He's persistent.
Yep. I'm also gonna ask CyberCan to close that
Yeah, so he's using a spear phishing attack as a secondary means.
That's a pretty solid move. If he's done human SE, right?
Human SE does not affect spear phishing.
That's electronic SE only?
Electronic SE only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's
got the spear phishing going.
I will say he's lucky that he got kicked out and not arrested. You could get arrested, and that is a 3 resource penalty for 3 turns. It's very devastating in the early game for Red Team.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, so he's done electronic SE now, so he's bumping that up.
So he's really going to social engineering. He's bumped up his human SE. He's bumping up his electronic SE.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Matt has his network segmented. Yeah, he must be having issues with his minus key resetting his. It's fine. We can see everything. It's just fine. I just thought it might be easier for him to see. All right, and he's doing his ICS safe testing methods, which means he's getting ready to do a vulnerability assessment. He is wasting no time in getting his basic blocking and tackling, some rudimentary monitoring set up, and he's going for his assessments. He's going to start hardening pretty fast. Ken has done
you know, it's crazy. These guys, they 60-second turns, but both guys are playing like 10 to 15-second moves. Like, this is an incredibly fast game. It's like speed chess.
Yeah. Man, he is bumping up the social engineering skills.
Oh, yeah.
He's got his safe testing method. He's going to start doing vulnerability assessments now. He's got his asset inventory completed. Man, he is moving.
Yeah, both guys are moving. I like this map. I think it's big enough for some interesting stuff to go on, but not so large that blue team is kind of at a loss.
This is the pipeline map. It's typically considered to be the medium-sized map. The manufacturing is the small map, and the large oil and gas is the large map.
Ken's doing some service enumeration on those devices. He's about to find out he doesn't have enough resources to do this. He's going to be disappointed when he finds that out. I do find it interesting. He's bumping all these things up, but he is trying to do some research on what these assets are that he has access to, probably so he can start poking and prodding them. Ken, this is just one of those indicators that Ken isn't super familiar with the game. He's only got 1 asset left, and research takes 2. So he'd have to either pull back one of his service enumerations to free up a resource and do the research, or do a service enumeration. If it were me, I would have pulled back a service enumeration simply because I am all about maximum resource utilization. That's my bag.
All right, so he's got some assets identified with port scans and service scan. Service scan is those blue. Yeah, he doesn't realize he doesn't have his vulnerabilities yet. He's clicked on the shield. Yeah, I think Ken is probably one of the most least experienced with the games. But between Ken, I don't know, Ken, Stacy, and David Meach were probably those were the most inexperienced with the game. But the difference between Ken and then the other two is that while he's inexperienced with the game, he's got a lot more cybersecurity experience.
Yes, this is true. So it looks like Cyber Matt Lee is focusing. He's looking at his OT infrastructure and trying to decide what he wants to do. He's installing antivirus there. He is very limited on resources. Only 3 analysts on the blue side to do all of the work. So very much like reality, right? Where you're, trying to make ends meet. Now, Clint, question for you. He's got an outdated firmware attack on here. You don't research outdated firmware. You just attack it. So how's the chances of Ken pulling this attack off if he decided to move forward with it? Well, I guess he's not, but...
Yeah, I mean, so there's really nothing that defends against. There's certain vulnerabilities and certain attacks that the blue team has that can buff against attacks for certain vulnerabilities. And outdated firmware is not one of those. So he would have a decent chance of exploiting the outdated firmware.
Come on, Ken. Oh, here we go. He is going to attack it. He's going for the outdated firmware attack. This would be a front door hit. You definitely, in my opinion, you don't want to do denial of service on a gateway firewall.
Yeah, not yet, unless you're trying to do like an emergency last-minute P&L victory or something.
Yeah, exactly. Back on the blue side here. Cyber Matt Lee's trying to figure it out. He can't hire new staff. He's way underfunded for that. He's doing system hardening. Doesn't cost any money. System patches doesn't cost money. It just costs people. He's gone ahead and passed the turn. Ken's attack looks like it failed.
Yep. So
he's doing electronic SC again. So I guess Ken's thinking since he can't really penetrate the hard candy shell of this organization, he's going to try to have someone take inside the GUI soft center, open an email for him.
M&M security.
A jelly donut.
All right, so he's got his vulnerability assessment. He's going to start hardening. He's changing default credentials on his devices. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I think that wasting resources on hardening and patching network devices, like specifically switches, is a waste of resources because hardly anybody focuses on switches. Although there's a little known effect with a switch is that if you do compromise a switch, you get visibility of all the devices connected to it.
Yep, that is interesting. But like, endpoint security, zero trust architecture, putting the EDR, if I do play blue, I'll tell you, I liked Eric Taylor's strategy when he played me many moons ago of, one of the very first things he did was like EDR on everything. He wanted visibility. And I found that to be a pretty useful approach. Now, Clint, let me ask you this. Log analysis action versus EDR. Do you need both of them for your SIM to find things? Or is it, what's the difference?
Your EDR is specific to your computers, your PCs. And log analysis is specific to network devices.
Oh, I see. Okay, very good.
So, another strategy that I haven't seen anybody use yet, maybe I'll keep it quiet, I don't know, but I think it'd be interesting to see, which is, I'll tell them. So an interesting strategy would be to deploy threat monitoring really fast. Get it out as fast as you can on everything. Let the red team in using what I call the bastard operator from hell. Actually, it's from Alex Goodwin. The bastard operator from hell strategy. Let the red team in. And then every time you detect something, get that threat intelligence, do forensics, get that threat intelligence, and go for a relatively quick threat intelligence victory by just letting them in the front door and just picking them off.
Oh, very nice. Kind of the like a rat trap almost, right?
Exactly.
All right. Looks like Ken did find the recruit hackers button, and he is almost done with that. Turn 2 of 3 right now. So once he gets those hackers, he will be able to do more. When we look at Ken's team screen, he is in desperate need of some help. So Cyber Matt Lee is feeling the burden of a CISO life. All right, he got new hackers.
He's got the hackers. He's got those resources. He definitely needs something because he doesn't really have anything going at this time.
Yeah, turn 17 with 2 remote users and a gateway firewall. That's very much, you could see that from turn 2 with a OSINT and then host scan from the internet. So let's see what he's doing.
Yeah, Matt's just going nuts on the hardening systems. I mean, he's really got his stuff together. I've watched Matt play a few rounds online when he was streaming, and he's actually, even for a beginner to the game, Matt is really good at this game. I mean, for being a beginner, he's really good at this game.
Yeah. Now, I will say, so here, you just saw where he freed up a resource to allocate it to something else. That's the technique I was talking about earlier.
Yep.
I will say one thing that you are able to do in the game, this game is so good about being realistic, but one thing that this game does that is unrealistic is the ability to go patch. You don't really have to deal with IT. You don't have to request. You don't have to get downtime, Windows, and all that. Nobody pushes back. I don't have sysadmins complaining about agents on their boxes.
It's on the way, though. It's on the roadmap.
Oh my God, that's like a DLC pack. Like
yeah.
It comes with like a jar of aspirin and a bottle of Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, it's on the way, though. Yeah, the ability to do zone patching and the ability to have these random injects where you get pushback from IT or somebody's out sick. That is on the roadmap.
Oh my God, that's really awesome.
All right, so what do you have? Oh, he's got one. Oh, as a remote user, that's kind of tough luck.
It's all right. He should still. I don't know. If I was Ken, he invested all that into the electronic SE. I would go for another social engineering attack. Go for a spearfish. Spearfishes to me are pretty expensive, so when they don't hit, it's pretty tough. But
the campaign engine.
He is harvesting credentials, so maybe he'll try to do a password attack on the firewall. I'm not sure what the gateway firewall currently looks like by Cyber Matt Lee. He's requesting budget here. So
yeah, I think what Ken's going to find out is that while the computer AI is a worthy opponent in many cases, playing against a human opponent is much more challenging.
Oh my God, yeah. Unless it's Carl.
He got budget.
All right, budget acquired, my friend.
Yeah, Matt is rolling. He needed the budget too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll tell you what. Oh Jesus, he went full ham on this one. He has requested staff. The 45. Dude, I feel like that action button had a thick layer of dust on it. He had to be like,
yeah,
before he clicked on that button. We'll see. And I'll tell you
he's got ransomware installed on that remote user, but I don't think that's going to help him much.
Well, if Matt Lee is not experienced, it's possible he gets distracted and activates IR.
There you go. Exfiltrate the data. Don't activate the ransomware yet. So now I like his strategy here. He's going to do some things to affect the P&L without letting him know exactly where he's at. And I don't know if Matt has EDR on that remote user.
I don't know either, but he actually backed out the attack, Clint. He backed out the exfiltrate data. He still has two resources, which is what it costs to do it. So
yeah, see, Matt does not have EDR on either one of his remote users, so he doesn't know he's been compromised.
Oh my God. It's too bad. Ken left 2 resources on the table, 18 seconds of time, and he didn't exfiltrate the data. That's a misstep.
Yeah, that was a play mistake.
Looks like Ken's gone on site. He's in the parking lot.
But again, he's on site, but did not create a malicious USB for a drop. So unless he plans on digging deeper into site, finding HMIs, doing physical recon to find devices and plant Trojans, he's kind of fumbling around a little bit.
Yeah, his electronic SE is maxed out. I would be crafting really well-written spearfishes right now and just launching them, opening a campaign. Now, Clint.
So he's moving into the plant using social engineering, and he's got a very high human SE skill rating right now, so he does have a chance there. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was going to say, of the 3 campaigns that you can do, fishing, watering hole, etc., they cost different values. Does the higher the value one have a higher chance of hitting or hitting a more? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that makes sense. It is a little early for Ken to be panicking. He has successfully entered the plant.
Okay.
This is good for Ken.
Now he needs to be careful here. His high human SE rating is going to counter the effects of the surveillance, but he's searching for HMI. He's going for HMI cheese.
He is searching HMI and he is searching for devices as well.
Yep. So searching for HMIs that has been nerfed a little bit, but it's not impossible. But it does take 2 turns to achieve now. So,
well, Clint, let me ask you this: if Ken finds some devices with his little physical recon, can he plant Trojans on those devices and have persistence?
Yeah, he can, but not only that, he can plant a rogue device right now if he wants to. But that rogue device is only going to be good to the zone that he's in. So what have you? And look at that. Oh, did he get an HMI? He did not.
Well, he doesn't know yet, right?
Yeah. Well, no. If you get an HMI, you'll know it's an HMI.
It couldn't be like an embedded device, and you have to scan it.
But he found
Dude, if I was on the plant, I would not be researching.
Those embedded devices one of them's a PLC. At least there are 2 of them. So, but
see, this is the HMI nerf, dude. This is it. It's something as simple as adding 1 more turn dynamically changed the game for the HMI cheese runs.
Yep.
So it looks like
it balanced it out, but he's still on site. He's still good to go.
Now, Cybermat Lee does have video surveillance on site. So
yep. However, Ken has a really good human social engineering rating, which really kind of cancels out some of the defense of the video surveillance.
Oh, Ken, you have 2 resources in 48 seconds,
he's
man.
Not utilizing his resources, and he just got booted.
Gosh. He doesn't know it yet, but he will find out soon. Dude, I am so hardcore insane about resource utilization, and watching Ken it's nails on a chalkboard for me. Let's find out. He's been arrested. He is laughing. He is laughing to himself. He's in a jail cell. His HMI search is obviously going to fail. At least he still has that foothold. It is a I wish he had installed a Trojan. He could have done it with those 2 resources.
Sorry about that, guys. About the blackout.
That's all right. All right, I'll just commentate. It's Cyber Matt Lee's turn. It looks like he's looking at the data historian and still cleaning up. He's doing patches on the engineering workstation. He's focused all up in that OT management space, that dark brown corner. He's flipped it to red. All right. Yep. Our good friend Ken is doing 20 to life.
But he's but he's still got 4 resources, even with the 3 down being in jail.
You can't go to the perimeter for jail, can you? Last I checked. Will it let him queue that up?
I think you can, because you have multiple resources and he's recruited hackers. Which I don't think, that's not the determining factor, but we'll see.
Well, I know, but if you're physically in jail, how can you walk to the perimeter? That's
here's the thing. I think it's just gonna fail. You shouldn't be able to queue it up. That might be one of the bug fixes. Let's see. I can't tell. He did. Oh, so even though he's got people in jail, yeah, he was still allowed to go on the perimeter because he's got people.
Interesting. Did not know that. Hey, learn something new every day. I love it. All right, so he's making a run for it. I find this interesting. He's basically stacking being in jail, because if he goes to jail again, I wonder how the timer will work.
This is territory that I'm not even familiar with as a creator of the game.
Oh my God, Ken, please install a Trojan. He's missing. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. So it's a good match. Guys, we're on turn 30 of 50. We're in the mid-game at this point. Matt Lee is putting together quite a strong performance. I would argue, a bit of an unorthodox flip to blue. A bit of an unorthodox gameplay strategy. You know what? I would argue Matt Lee's approach to this game is what it looks like when you have a seasoned 20-year IT person who's been put in charge of cybersecurity. There's nothing wrong with it, but they work at like the tactical level. There's no strategic framework vision pushing down. And you know, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Love it. So Clint's Ken's
He's searching for HMIs again, and that's good. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens if he gets arrested again. I mean, you can go negative resources when you start getting arrested.
It will be interesting, too, if he's able to detonate an HMI while in jail. That could be a first.
That's going to have a new strategy name.
Yeah, right? So, you know, you can look at the little yellow shield with the red exclamation point are vulnerabilities. So you can see that Cyber Matt Lee, it has some vulnerability still, but many of his OT stuff has been cleaned up. What are we going to do? A password attack? He did harvest credentials at one point. He doesn't know any vulnerabilities for that, so maybe he's going to have to do some research. Find vulnerabilities. There he goes. Pretty solid move. It's a one-turn, one-resource move to find vulnerabilities. That'll find public vulnerabilities, but those are fine. Those are fine. So, Clint, Matt Lee's working on installing physical 2FA. What does that do in context of the game?
It's going to make it very difficult to break electronic locks.
Okay.
So, but then, I mean, Ken hasn't been utilizing electronic entry, so Matt doesn't know it, but it's kind of a wasted move.
Mm-hmm. All right. He's got his physical 2FA, log analysis. He still hasn't really done much with his AD server or his SIM server, that Elk server in the bottom left corner there.
Yeah, but then, you know, he's doing the right thing. He's really he's focusing on his process control network, and you know, in game here, that's the right thing to do, because, I mean, quite frankly, other than maybe some data pilfering and credential pilfering value or P&L value, the overall value, I would say that the server zone is a bit of a red herring. There's really not a lot of value there, except for a couple. You know, there's a lot of P&L value there, but I mean, the control systems are your crown jewels, but they're also the hardest to get to.
Yeah, but I feel like a ransomware AD server is pretty good. Or we even saw in a friendly exhibition match I had against Matt Lee, I believe, I compromised the SIM server, and they lost total visibility across their entire network. Yeah,
I mean, if you compromise the SIM, there's a strategy there for stealth for sure. But yeah, other than that, the server zone is primarily a P&L haven. I mean, that's as for the red team. You know, you attack the server zone and the production zones for P&L victories.
So it looks like Ken's got visibility on a lot of assets. He's starting to enumerate them. He does have all of these massive amounts of resources, so he's doing spear fishing. Please don't pass the turn, Ken, with three people on the bench. More electronic SE. This dude is going to push it past 100%.
Yeah, not possible, but he's wasting resources on continued research with diminishing returns.
Yep. So Matt Lee's considering security skills training. He decides to go with it. He did successfully get that fourth asset. I can't tell how much money he has right now, 24,000. So he must have got another budget request or awarded some money because.
Yeah, I think he got the $10,000 budget defender bonus.
I like it.
I mean, you know, you said that, you know, he pretty much acts like a an IT person moving tactically or whatever, but it's systematic and it's methodical, right? And it's paying off against, Ken here.
Yep.
I think that you can move tactically with a spread out approach like this if the red team doesn't really have a methodical approach, a really sound strategy, know what they're doing. But somebody with a more advanced play set, experience, and a strategy, you can't use such a spread out approach. You're going to have to be more strategic, and you're going to have to be ready to pivot quickly.
Yeah, well, Matt's really hard. He might. I don't know if he can do this in 50 turns, but the all clear win condition, we don't see the all clear win.
It can be done. Our beta testers have pulled it off.
We don't see the all clear win condition very often, but for those in chat who aren't familiar with it, there is a situation where the blue team can win before the 50th turn if they remediate all vulnerabilities in the environment. It's a hard one to achieve.
Yeah,
but
and that's why we don't really even talk about it here in the competition, because it's so rare. But I mean, oh man, if he pulled off an all clear victory during competition, that would be epic. But he's going to have to do pen testing to pull that off, and there's a very specific strategy of combinations you have to pull off using vulnerability assessments and pen testing in concert to be able to find those 0 days. And you can't have the red team in your network. So he has to... Look at there.
Wow. How did he hit that?
I think he got lucky on the engineering workstation.
No. He did that Spearfish campaign.
Yeah.
He's electronic SD.
He's got an engineering workstation. Kent, he's got 7 resources. You need to damage the ICS right now.
Now let me ask you this. Like,
Ken, what are you thinking about? Yes.
There's no way to protect from this, right?
You got to eliminate the threat. I mean,
I know that.
So he knows it. See, he says the only way to protect against this is to immediately replace that asset. And he has a turn delay, a 1-turn delay to get into IR mode to do that. If Ken gets lucky on this damage ICS strike, he will have pulled out a massive upset here.
Yes, it will be a massive upset. Matt Lee does not look like he's interested in activating IR. He's activated IR. He's got 3 resources. Definitely need to use them.
That's Matt's inexperience. If Matt,
he's focused on userland right now.
Matt's inexperience with the game and with OT is going to hurt him right now, because there it is. Boom. Yep. And there it is. Oh, what an upset. Because Matt didn't understand that the engineering workstation is the true keys to the kingdom. Wow.
What an unexpected victory.
Wow.
Red team wins again.
Slow start with another lucky spearfishing strike. The last 2 games have been won with lucky spearfishing strikes.
Absolutely.
Now, I would say that Eric's was lucky, but it was also systematic. But Ken did, to be fair, Ken started off with the same strategy that Eric was using. Or he at least pivoted to that. Wow.
I got to say, another exciting match. Matt Lee was doing the right things. Ken was kind of all over the place. But damn, definitely worked. Unfortunately, Matt did have an opportunity there to intervene on that compromised engineering workstation and either disconnected from the network, which would have worked, right, Clint?
Yeah.
Or replace it.
Let's get them over to the server.
Yeah, I'll invite them right now. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, you're doing it. This is ThreatGEN Red versus Blue. It's on. Go to threatgen.com for more information on the game itself. What a match. What a match.
Yeah.
Ken wins. Ken takes the W. I gotta say, Red is winning 3 out of 4 in the competition right now. So
yeah. All right, let's get these guys on here.
Yep. Ken.
So man, guys, good game. Let me tell you. Yeah, I know, Matt. Let me tell you something, guys. So, and I'm just gonna say this before we get into your strategies and talk about that. Let me just tell you that, Matt, you were doing a fantastic job. You were methodical. You were systematic. You were putting up, you were the Pittsburgh Steelers Iron Curtain defense. And
yeah, man.
It was, of the 70s, and it was amazing. It was a thing of beauty. And You thwarted a couple of Ken's initial early strategies, but he stayed persistent. No pun intended, with that electronic social engineering, and he kept the spearfishing going. And in the end, he ended up landing a lucky strike. I mean, the luckiest strike that you can land in the game is a spearfishing attack or a USB strike on the engineering workstation. And I was telling Jerry that you didn't look too urgent about that engineering workstation getting popped because the way that why you're moving around and things like that. And I said it's probably your inexperience with the game combined with maybe some inexperience with OT to understand that engineering workstation is the keys to the kingdom and has direct access to the PLCs. So talk to me, Matt, a little bit about your strategy there. It was pretty apparent, but I'm really curious about what your reaction to when you saw that engineering workstation getting popped.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I knew that, at least in I played a bunch of games yesterday. I've been practicing the last couple of weeks, and it really kind of comes down to that there are particular assets that in the map don't tie directly to their value and risk, right? And what I mean by that is if you look at the engineering workstation, it's placed in a different subnet. It has, no logical view to connect to those other assets, but you don't see the serial cable laying on the floor that runs straight to the PLCs that literally is touching the PLCs as a direct response. And so I would say there is some graphical layout that would have changed that if you placed that engineering workstation physically connected to those PLCs so that people had the direct correlation. But ultimately, I think I saw it the first time it popped up and was going into incident response. But you're right. I would not have had direct, in my mind, correlation to it being uninspected all the way to the PLC if I can just gain a foothold on that workstation. Not by the graphics, and certainly as I think about it, it's quite accurate, right? I have the machine sitting right in front of the PLCs for those 5-axis controllers, right? Like I know that. It just doesn't stick in my head. And so I didn't think of the asset more valuable than the assets below it.
So Ken, what was your initial strategy? And it looked like that you kind of thought about pivoting and then you went back. Like talk us through, all that.
Yeah. So initial strategy was let me get in physically and get there the fastest. Once I got arrested the first time, because I think I got it 2 or 3 times.
It was twice.
I was arrested
twice. Yeah.
But first time I got arrested, I was like, okay, let me pivot to more of the electronic social engineering and focus on both phishing, email phishing, and spear phishing attacks. And then I did that for a bit. Started just doing the traditional route through things. And then I thought in my head, I was like, well, he's going to be focused on that now. Let me try again to get back on the physical side. And then, of course, I got arrested again and then came back to it. And yeah, like you said, Clint, that was a pretty lucky strike to get that engineer workstation.
So go ahead, Matt.
If you watch it too, whenever I saw the workstation pop up and I saw my unpatched vulnerability on the PLC, I'm like, oh, it's over. Like it's over. He's going to trained on this, this type of attack mechanism. But
so this, I mean, the time was almost identical, down to like 3 or 4 minutes from this morning's match. The ending of this match felt a lot like the ending to this morning's match with Eric Taylor, in that he did kind of the same thing, but his strike wasn't on the engineering workstation. However, the difference in these two, no offense, Ken, but because your strategy was kind of back and forth and went different, here's what it felt like to me. Eric Taylor's strategic approach was a Navy SEAL team strategically and methodically entering an adversary's stronghold and taking them out as intended. Ken, you were a burglar in the night, rattling doors and windows, walking around the house, looking for a way in, and happened to find a broken window with the door open next to it.
Hey,
and walked right in.
Yeah, when you get the jewels, you get the jewels. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's just like a Fast and Furious movie, right?
Yeah.
A win's a win. Doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile.
Exactly. No, it didn't mean any offense to you saying that.
Oh, no. Actually,
your strategy was
you said
maybe.
Navy. I immediately was like, thank goodness he said Navy.
Oh.
I take no offense to that whatsoever.
Yeah. So, the difference between, I come from the Air Force, we call it the chair force. You're the Navy, you're more like the floaty force, right? The chair floating on the water, right? So it's.
Aren't they the Marines taxi? I thought that's what the Navy was.
So is the Air Force. We're the Airbus for the Marines. And
guys, I was Army, so I was the guy that
I thought you were Navy.
all the Air Force mess.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ken. I thought you were you were Army. Okay. Well, either way, you know what? Hey, thanks to all our service members. No offense to anybody, but I like to pick on myself. So, Matt, any thoughts on what would you other than the obvious? Would you have done anything different, or do you think that you had a pretty solid play?
You never know with this. I think there's enough game theory that I'm a bit missing that would come into play here. That's maybe the learned trait. But from a practical, harden the assets more that have more impact to you, right? Deal with those. In fact, other than the fact that I did not realize that this machine had one-to-one access, I thought it would be a pivot that had to then gain access to those PLCs. Yeah. I would have changed that and hardened those assets first instead of the PLCs themselves a little more. But other than that, it's the strategy of I've got to get the policy. I've got to get the executive team into giving me enough funding to have the budget to have another human and then build access and get more and more ramped up on these. And I think had I gotten another 4 or 5 turns, I think that actually would have been even harder to have come across because I would have had EDR rollout complete. I would have had the USB protection more protected. So I'm good with my strategy on this one. I think I learned a lot from the last time in at least some of the base layers that need to exist. So.
Well, to your point, you said earlier, there were some visual things that could have helped and everything like that. And it's a simulation. It's not a perfect fidelity to real life. But there are
a great
things,
training tool though, for sure.
But we are improving it, right? And there are things that we have on the roadmap to help. And that's one of the reasons why we like to have these tournaments and we like to watch players play is because situations like this is like, oh, that's a great idea. We could actually kind of improve the visibility or the knowledge that workstation is connected to these PLCs and improve that a little bit. So all these things help, and the development of the simulation is going to be an ongoing process, as is this league, and hopefully we just get this moving in a very fast direction moving forward to where it serves its purpose, which is like everybody learn.
And for anybody not following that delineation, if you looked at it the way the map looks, saying, hey, the PLCs are down here, then if I'm on a machine over here, I only just have one less firewall between me and it, but I still have to communicate with it to make it happen. But when you are talking about PLCs and when you are talking about these logic controllers, they're usually serial. They're usually connected to that machine.
They used to be.
Directly can be manipulated, right?
They used to be. Now, though, for at least a couple decades now, they've been converging with TCP/IP protocols, and even more so now. And so that's the reason why they're conveyed the way they are. On the large oil and gas map, where you have serial radio connectors,
they're right there.
Yeah, and there is in fact in the new versions updates of the game coming out, you'll see a dotted line that represents serial connections. And so cool. But yeah, nowadays a lot of PLCs are connected via TCP/IP. And so that's just
makes sense.
The reality of a converging architecture to many operators' dismay. So anyway, Ken, anything? I mean, you did pull off the win there, but we noticed that there were a lot of resources left sitting on the bench to Jerry's dismay, and then.
Yeah, I have an unusual, like, it's probably neurotic. I have an unusual, disposition of anger and disgust for misused resource or for not full resource utilization.
Well, you saw my one.
Yeah, when I play, if I get under like a 97% resource utilization, it's like the worst day ever. Like, I'm just going to bed after that.
Yeah.
Well, so I mean, is there anything you would have done, differently? What would you have done, or what will you do next time to improve your play, if you want to reveal that?
Well, I don't think I'll reveal what I'll do next time. I just think that I would probably focus a little more on the electronic route, especially around the spear phishing. Not saying I'll do that next time, but I think that I did see that one with Matt and Eric. So I was actually I think it was Matt and Eric, where Eric jumped in physically. So I was like, well, I think Matt will probably defend against this, but let me just see if that's a quick win or not. So
and he did. He jumped out with that surveillance really quick. But the fact that you had your human SE so high, it dampened the effects of surveillance somewhat.
Yeah, and so that part, spiking those up on both the electronic and human SE, I wouldn't change that one bit. I think that's an important part of things. But yeah, I mean, overall, jumping around, just adapting to what the other team was doing. And I think that that simulates real life of maybe your non-nation state level attacker coming in, that they're going to say, oops, crap, I can't get this machine now. Let me pivot over here, try this route.
Right.
So.
Well, I hopefully, Matt, I've watched a few of your streams. Remember, and so I was there on a couple of your very first streams ever under my alter ego on
my 1W with Eric Taylor, right? The first game, the 75 round W, as a matter of fact, actually.
That was nice, yeah. But I'm even going further back. I was watching you practicing on your channel. I was there under my Arcades and Indies alter ego, and trying to help you out and give you advice. And
it was very helpful.
So I've seen you a few times playing and everything like that. And even though that you're gone from this tournament now, you're now eliminated. I really hope to see you back in future tournaments and league play.
I will be,
because you are a fierce competitor and you add value to everything that we're doing here. So thank you very much. So
appreciate y'all.
Hey,
go beat him, Ken. Yeah, my final
final
thought is go whip Taylor's butt. Like it's his turn. Damn it.
Well, I'll be really curious to see. So Ken played as red and Eric played as red. They both can't be red, obviously.
No.
So they'll either have to be a gentleman's agreement or the coin flip, which is random and fair. So it'll be curious to see which one will be red, which one will be blue. And how that shakes out. Eric Taylor does boast that he is great at both sides. So
he does. We should test that.
Yeah.
If I was being given the coin flip, I would say Eric Taylor's going to be on blue, personally. And give Ken a chance to improve on his strategy. But
so we will have those matches posted at some point tonight. And so we're going, and maybe first thing in
I can tell you the next match. I can tell you the next match. So the next match will be Stacy Loki versus myself tomorrow, Wednesday, September 21st at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Okay, so you have decided that is in the afternoon, and then
and I will be red team, and she will be blue team.
Yeah. Now, so we had to flex. Ken and Eric will play next. And we had to flex that from tomorrow to Thursday due to a scheduling conflict with Eric. So the next match we'll post that tonight and get all that up tomorrow morning. So what are you posting there? Okay, so it's 12 p.m. Eastern on Thursday is when it is?
Yeah, Ken and Eric. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll get it all posted.
Look to social media. It'll be out there. We've got the same look and feel for all the play cards, for all of the promo material, so you'll know it when it's coming. But round 2 action, first game tomorrow on Wednesday, the second game on Thursday, and then the finals on Friday. It's pretty epic week of activity and competition, and so far it proved to be a really well received, well fought, and in some situations surprising round 1.
Yeah, and we do have, since I let the cat out of the bag earlier, and then Jerry asked me to kind of talk a little bit about it earlier. We've got a small twist coming for round 2, so we're gonna switch up some of the meta numbers for round 2 a little bit. We're gonna make it a little easier to do stealth on the red team. We're probably going to do something with the resources a little bit. So we're gonna kick up a twist for the round 2, and then I have something working special for the finals. Not going to release it yet, but we have a very special little twist coming for the finals, so you got to stay tuned for that. So, all right. On that note, thank you very much to the audience for joining us. Thanks to competitors. This was a great match. Ken, thank you very much. Matt, thank you very much. Jerry, thanks for joining me. And we will catch everybody on the next one tomorrow afternoon. Take care, everybody.